Yo, 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 what's up? What's up? Episode 106 of the Collective Podcast. Rodney's on his way. Looks like the link I sent out, well, the calendar invitation I sent out had multiple links in it. So my bad on that. But as I always say, if you don't show up at the last second, if you don't show up at the last, then you won't have that issue. Like we could have fixed it. Um,
That's the right
yeah,
one.
Rod, they were saying just if you show up, a little early instead of like right at the time, then we could fix those issues. I'm just saying with the people, with the fans.
Right.
Well, no, seriously. Like all jokes aside, if you don't show up at 58, then you know what I'm saying. But if you look at that calendar invitation, I put the new link only at the top, not at the top in the middle. Somehow it didn't save, but the good link was at the bottom. Anyway, episode 106 of the Collective Podcast. Um, Rodney is here now.
Ain't that nothing.
And
Come on, man. You got to stop that narrative because you canceled on me a few times.
I don't do that. I'll do that. Don't do
Okay.
that.
All
Don't do
right.
that.
We ain't
And
gonna
I'm
do that
saying
then.
here finally today because it's 8:03. I'm not even talking about don't do that because we're being flexible for what those big changes in your life. So
In our lives, because it went both ways, man. It wasn't one sided.
okay.
Yeah. Let's go and move on to sports.
Yeah, this dude right here. Episode 106. My mom's texting me asking me how she watches the Jennifer Hudson show. Do I care about that? You should be watching the Collective Podcast. Um, I mean, I'm not about to research that for my mom right now. Sorry. So we're gonna move on. So anyway, shout out to you guys, the people watching, the viewers, the listeners, viewing and listening. This episode 106 of the Collective Podcast. My buddy over there does not like me to call him on anything, so we're just gonna have fun. I'm not gonna call him on anything. Shout out to Rodney for gracing us with his presence, like apparently he always wants to do, but it's my fault. So here we are.
Here we go.
How you doing today, man? How you doing today?
That's great. I'm great.
Just great. Okay. You
Everything
got
is
anything exciting going on today?
nothing exciting going on today. Just I'm just actually gonna clean up today. That's all. I got
Clean
a
up
free
today. Okay.
Saturday. I got a free Saturday with no sports, no work, nothing.
No sports, no work, nothing.
Nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah,
Is that an exciting Sunday for you? I mean Saturday for you. I'm
that's
skipping
a
ahead.
rare Saturday.
Oh, hence you're here. All right, last one. Last one. Last one. We are very excited to bring you episode 106 of the Collective Podcast. Um, there are so many places that we can dive in, but let me ask you, Rodney, do you want to dive in on the pitching staff and you know which pitching staff I'm talking about, or do you want to talk about all these conversations about farms and goats and all of that? Where do you want to begin?
Hey man, we can jump in the pitching staff right away.
All right. So this is what Rodney was terrified about in the off season. Just that there, in his mind, certain people that should have stayed were allowed to walk away, and there weren't reinforcements brought in, and so um, kind of with Dave Roberts' excellent managerial skills and the great Mookie and Freddie Freeman and so many people filling in the gaps, the Dodgers were just able to outscore people. And now they've been plagued with, unless they shut you out, then they're probably going to let you win in the ninth inning. Um, the last four close games that they had, they lost in the ninth inning. Three in a row to the Yankees, and last night to the Phillies. And before that, they did get one win, a sweep. I mean, a shutout Was it over the? I guess it was also over the Phillies. Oh snap! We got the professor on here. All right, we got Sam coming in. Shout out to the professor.
What up? What up? What up?
What's up, brothers? Good morning,
Professor
brothers.
Gardner III. Welcome.
What's happening?
Welcome to the Collective Podcast, episode 106. We're absolutely happy to have you.
Yes,
Where you
sir.
checking in today from, brother?
Man, I'm checking in from Mansfield, Texas, suburb of the DFW area. Only reason I'm on is because my boy Rod also. I'm still mad from the last episode.
We got to stick together, man.
Okay. So
That's right.
So
that's funny, man. My brother just got here yesterday from Wiley, Texas.
Oh, from what? Yeah. My uncle lives in Wiley, actually. Yeah, my uncle lives in Wiley. We were out in Wiley last weekend for a birthday party at my uncle's crib. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be there next month for his birthday party. Yeah.
Man, look, hit me up when you're here, brother. We got to connect, man.
Done deal.
Yep, I'm officially erasing Mr. Carter's contact information. As soon as you get here, man, he's out of here. It's over.
All right, so I need to give you guys a backstory because unless we ask for complete honesty on this podcast, we're gonna get stuff like that. Because I'm like Sam's brother. Sam's like my brother. There's no way that he's erasing me because it really is all love. And Rod, since he's doing this, we're gonna start with something different. So here's what we're gonna start with. Sam, welcome. Rod, we're not gonna start talking about the Dodgers yet. We're just gonna go right into my god brother. And wait, where'd he go? Yeah, we're gonna go right into my god brother, and then you guys can make all your little comments, and then we can get beyond that. So lots of talk about Draymond Green last week, and what he did or didn't do to the org, and you know where his legacy lies, and all of that. But you know, he wanted to let all of us know that, as I stated, he's not oblivious to the thing. Like everything that he does is very calculated. But anyway, judge for yourself.
All the shit that I've caused myself. It's not that like I've gone through something that somebody else caused. It's self-inflicted wounds that I've had over the course of your tenure here, you know, us being together. And we were speaking about it. And he was like, man, I forgot all of that shit. You've done a lot of shit. And I trust me. Not for 1 second do I go home and not think these guys have had my back. Like you, Bob, through things that I've gone through. The camera caught you one time like, I'm sick of Draymond shit. And I was like, that sucks. I can't believe he said that. And I had to take a step back like, I'd be sick of Draymond shit too. So.
All right. So, yep, just wanted to share that because I think that there's a narrative running out there that Draymond was oblivious to the things that he was doing. And also that Draymond didn't care. So I just wanted to throw that at you.
When you listen to hold
on. Okay. Maybe now I can be reinstated in the Gardner family, but maybe not. All right, go ahead, Rod.
When you listen to what he said, he didn't realize he was an idiot. It wasn't calculated. He said, I had to step back and realize I'd be sick of me too. That's what he said.
And there you have it.
You calling this dude an idiot? That's what we're doing?
He was acting an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot.
All right, I'm not going to use the word. I'm not going to use the word idiot, but
thank you.
He has a limited capacity up here. That's what I'll say.
I did say now I don't seem to be getting credit for this, and I know that you shouldn't get credit for cleaning your room and making your bed and all that, but I did say that he makes bad decisions. I just said that he is deciding to do these things. I did say that, right?
I don't remember that.
Wait, what did the young kids say? That's
a long time ago with me saying I love Draymond's game, but I didn't like once he became a quote unquote superstar, how his attitude changed and with all the antics going on. Because he didn't do that before. Right.
And I think that we disagree as to the effect of the quote unquote antics, but what has never been lost on me, and I've said this from the beginning, is he's very calculated with what he's doing, and sometimes it's just bad decisions. Like, it's the absolute wrong time to do some of these things. I've always agreed with that. I've always stated that. Rod, you know better than anybody here that I don't live my life in absolutes. And so I don't think that anyone is always right. Like, if I know that I'm not always right, then I can't be expecting anybody else, not a single person on this earth, to be right all of the time. And so I never speak in absolutes, and I want you to really internalize that. And well, you should have internalized it by now, but I want you to say that to the audience, that you know that about me, that I don't just give everybody this umbrella of protection outside of Caleb.
Well, I'll say this. Last week you spoke in absolutes because you were absolutely wrong. So therefore, that was an absolute. So that was definitive right there, that you were wrong.
Professor, why are you confusing these people? I could be absolutely wrong. I'll go with that. Y'all think I'm absolutely wrong because it was 3 of y'all, right? It was you, all 3 of y'all with Elaine. You guys thought I was absolutely wrong, but I was not speaking in absolutes. But that's funny as hell, though.
That's absolute for me. I told your sister here, I said, I don't know what's wrong with him today, but I'm not talking to him anymore. I told her that. And she just shook her head and walked off.
That's hilarious.
Well, I'm glad we all came back together. I'm glad you joined us, and I'm glad that I can. If you guys didn't receive it last week, then receive it today. I am aware that this dude does make bad decisions. I just don't think that everything he does is bad, because again, that's an absolute. But and then I was being facetious when I said he didn't have anywhere to step. We get it. We get it.
And no, you don't live in absolute, so I'll tell everybody that. No. But yeah, it gets to a point now where it's like, all right, are you gonna give him $35 million to do that? And that's what the decision is going to be. Some of it is calculated, and I've said it before. There are times where he's yelling and fussing on the floor, and he's absolutely right. A lot of times he is. I'll say the majority of the time, when he has a gripe, it's a legitimate gripe. But the times where he doesn't, it's bad. And even when he is right, he doesn't let it go. Like, he doesn't say something and move on. He still has to be standing on the lane line, still yelling and cursing, still talking crazy.
So I think that was a point of contention for us. Not that he won't let it go, but you said specifically that he stops playing defense to not let it go, and you're supposed to get us some clips of that. So we'll give you another week.
I said that?
Yeah.
No, I said that he stops playing defense because it becomes a distraction
when it's going the other way.
Yeah, I said that.
And Rod said he would give us some evidence. So we'll give you another week for that. So that's it for Draymond. Since we're now in the NBA, he is extra on occasion. Absolutely. And I guess the problem is when your best friend in the league gets carte blanche, you think you should get some of that too. And his best friend is LeBron, so whatever. But you're right, Elaine. Absolutely. All right, Rod, talk about your foreign exchange student friend who is the #1 player on the Denver Nuggets and what they're doing to the Miami Heat.
Hey man, that dude he's killing the Heat right now, and they don't have any size to deal with him. They were slow about putting in Kevin Love. They finally put him in the second game. They won the game, and then they started putting in Zeller somewhere around the third game, and last night he has absolutely no athleticism at all. And so they're just getting schooled. Bam is too small. Bam is probably 6'8" at best. And he's just too little to deal with that. So this dude is he's scoring over midgets, because in this this league where you switch everything now, if Bam is guarding him, and then they run screen and roll well, they run a 2-man game almost every play, so that accounts for all the assists they get. When you run screen and roll with 2 players 70 times, you're bound to get 10 at least. So they run the screen and roll with Murray and Jokic, and they switch. Miami's switching it, and so then you end up with Murray's defender on Jokic, and that's a mismatch every time. He's going to just score right over the top of him, which he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you and if he gives the ball up, then Murray has the big on him, and he's just going to go right by him or step back for a 3. So I just said on Facebook yesterday or the day before yesterday, why don't they funnel Murray away from the screen? If you know that he looks for Joker's screen, funnel him away from the screen and make him go to the other direction and play it that way. I would rather see somebody like KCP or some off-brand guys score 100 and they beat us versus letting those 2 guys just go for 40 apiece.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. And actually, Gordon actually did score, almost 30 last night? But I would tolerate that a lot better than tolerate those other 2, because Murray was like, I know at one point he was like 5 for 15, and he kept missing shots, and he was having a hard time. And the game was much closer. I mean, Miami just down the stretch couldn't hit shots, but they were right in the game all the way up until the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, take something that they like to do and take it away and make them do something different. Make them kind of play outside their comfort zone a little bit. But to have this attitude like, oh, because I saw people write, no, there's nothing they can do. Yeah, there's a whole lot they can do. It's a game-to-game situation. It's a 7-game series, and each game you get to try something different. You don't have to stay with the same strategy every single time, like it's the Super Bowl or something where you got one shot. But a lot of times, some coaches get stubborn and they figure, this is my system, this is what we run, and I don't want to come off of that.
Right.
I think for me, it reminds me a lot of, and by no means are the players at the same level of who I'm going to mention, but it reminds me of old school Utah Jazz, where you knew Stockton and Malone were running the pick and roll the entire game. You knew it was coming, but they weren't able to contain it, especially when Stockton and Malone had what was your guy that would always be on the baseline that could shoot the little mid-range jumper, white guy.
Hornacek.
Last name started with an H. Yeah, Hornacek. So they had a guy like that. Oh my gosh. But you knew the pick and roll was coming. It would give you fits every single time. And it's almost like their scheme to me is a lot like the Jazz 2.0. As I said, I know we're talking Hall of Famers from back then, but the Heat know that play is coming. They know they're going to continue to do it. But then the scary thing about Jokic is the fact that he can come out to the elbow, but then he can take it out 27 feet, knock it down. His mid-range is crazy. It's like, as you said, Rod, I don't even know how you contain it when you don't have a team with any bigs that are truly serviceable. His footwork is immaculate, and I'm like, Joker is killing him.
Yeah, you gotta. I mean, I wouldn't understand why you would only have one center back there, even if you come in. I mean, you have to bring in Udonis Haslem. You need a defender. You don't expect Udonis to come in and score 20, but you need a guy that knows what he's doing and can play defense and give you a good solid 15 or 20 minutes to wear him down. That's a whole reason why a lot of players got jobs in the NBA, because Shaq, like, you knew Shaq was there. You better sign 4 or 5 centers on your squad. A lot of those guys would not have been in the league if it had not been for Shaq playing for Orlando or the Lakers. They wouldn't have had jobs, but you had to have extra centers to be able to try to help control him. And Miami didn't sign anyone outside of Zeller to play center, and I don't understand that. I mean, because they traded, well, they signed Kevin Love late. He was a buyout player, so they didn't get him until late in the season. If it hadn't been for Love coming over, they would be even smaller than they are now.
So, for a little bit of comic relief, I just want to go back to what you remember how you said they feel like they only have one shot, like it's the Super Bowl or something. Remember you said that? Well, LL texted me and told me he wanted me to play this clip. So
Wait, one shot at love? Oh my gosh, I haven't heard this in forever. Hey, you gotta get to the core. You gotta get to the chorus, AC. Get to the chorus.
Here it comes.
Hey, he was too quiet over there. I knew something was coming. I knew something.
Goodness. Shout out to LL.
He had
that's so ignorant right there.
Oh my goodness, man. LL, thanks for checking in, brother. Anytime, man. Now, when you want to come on live, just come through. By the way, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention I did invite Dre. I did invite Dre on the show. He did not come, but I did invite him. I think you guys scared him off. So one thing that Rodney and I were talking about yesterday is, if this team does pull it out, not even if they pull it out, but where this Denver team ranks amongst championship contenders of the past. And Rod was wondering aloud if any prior NBA champion would lose to this Denver squad. So I thought that was an interesting topic. So let's get into that before we leave the NBA. Thoughts?
I just don't see it. I think this is people probably listening probably won't agree, but this is a weak postseason right now. Just for what we're used to. Even with Miami, they're missing Tyler Hero, who scores 20 plus a game. They're missing Victor Oladipo, who can score and play defense, who would make a huge difference in the Miami team, because they got Duncan Robinson out there who doesn't know how to play defense at all. That's why he's been buried on the bench the whole season, because he can shoot, but he doesn't know how to play defense. So he's at the end of the bench, and they throw him in because I think they had 5 different 2 guards who got injured, because Jimmy Butler got injured at the end of the Knicks series, so he's not completely healed. Caleb Martin got injured. He's got a fracture in his back that he's playing with. Tyler Hero broke his wrist. Oladipo tore his knee. And Vincent got injured in the last series and twisted his ankle. So, they're not playing at full strength and they're small. That's just too much. And when you look at, they played a soft Laker team. They played, who'd they play in the first round? They played, was it Minnesota? Like, the competition that they're facing is really weak. And they themselves don't have a lot of size. Gordon is what, like 6'8" at best? So you have to think, and then their guards are not great. They got KCP and they have Murray. And am I missing someone? No, that's it. Oh, and Porter Jr. So you have to look at the lineups and look at who they coming off the bench and wonder, could they handle? We know they couldn't handle any of the Lakers teams or Bulls teams with this roster. Those are out. So I don't think they have enough defenders to even be respectable with a lot of these championship teams. I mean, when you think about Houston had shooters lined up all over the place, and just looking at the eye test, and because Joker doesn't play any defense, Hakeem would have a field day. He would probably score 50.
Okay. So we're going to come back to that Hakeem comment in a second. I'm going to let you keep going, but I just want to remind you that we're going to come back to Hakeem. Excuse me, because you know what else we have to talk about. But let me ask you this. What about Dallas?
The Dirk team?
I mean, they only had one.
But they were deep.
We're definitely not talking about Mark Aguirre. I mean, they didn't win it, but they couldn't beat them either.
The Dallas team had snipers. That's the team with Jason Terry, right?
Yeah, I wasn't saying yes. I just wanted to that's the only one I could think of that would be in the discussion, and it's not even a discussion. So I think you're right.
I know what you're asking, but yeah. Right.
Because I can't think of a soft champion.
Me either.
No, I can't. I was like trying to think of Milwaukee, and I'm like, no, I think Milwaukee would torch them. They would torch them as well. So I don't.
With
they
that,
definitely couldn't hang with the They couldn't even.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. They couldn't even hang with like the San Antonio teams. They couldn't.
Oh, no.
There's too many defenders.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sam, that being said, oh wait, Rod, let me go back to the one point. Since Sam wanted to kick me out of the family, let's talk about you and your godbrother. I mean, you and your stepbrother. You specifically said your championship team can't beat another championship team if KCP is in the lineup. You specifically said that. So do you want to speak to that? Because he's probably now mad at you for saying that.
I don't remember saying that.
Oh, you don't.
But they shouldn't win. I mean, and that's what I mean earlier when I said I would force him to beat me. Like, yes, he can hit a shot here and there, but it's sometimey. It's not his preference to take shots. Mm-hmm. So make him do what he's not comfortable doing. If he's not comfortable taking 20, 25 shots a game, make him shoot it that many times.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel it. Yeah. All right. Okay. So speaking of Hakeem, this is another thing we were talking about yesterday, Sam. So Dan Le Batard, and I'm not going to take shots at his name because I used to like him up until yesterday. Dan Le Batard puts out a tweet that says, and I'm paraphrasing, why isn't this guy more popular? He's Magic and Bird combined.
And I heard somebody replay it after you told me that. So I did hear it. Yeah. Okay,
great. And then rather than one of our current greats say something like, are you nuts comparing anybody to Magic, and then actually saying that someone is not only Magic, but they're another great combined? Like, it's blasphemy. Rather than say that, we had Kevin Durant say, well, Jokic doesn't really want, like, this is his response. Jokic doesn't really want to be a star. He just wants to go to work and go home and then FaceTime his horses and get in the pool. Yeah, that's funny, I guess. But let's address the problem here that this dude is calling this guy Magic and Bird combined. So I got two problems here. The Dan Le Batard statement, and then the fact that these guys don't protect Magic and even protect Bird, but you're just commenting on it and not saying, like, hold this guy accountable. What are you talking about? That's nuts for you to say that. Thoughts?
All right. So, we live in a society that we always have to have comparisons and comparables. It goes to the whole, who's the GOAT? And that, for me, is one of the most difficult questions, because I think you can say who's the GOAT of a particular era, but it's difficult for me to say, like, and I don't want to drift off too far, but to say, like, okay, LeBron James is the GOAT because he scored the most points in the NBA. But yet when I'm looking at Wilt Chamberlain stats, you know, when he's had seasons scoring 50 a game, 20, 30 rebounds a game. But then people will say, well, the game was so different back then. Well, should he be penalized for the game being different back then? For his particular era, he was killer. Or say Bill Russell was killer for a particular era. So, you know, we always are so quick to want to compare with this person is the next this, as opposed to saying they're just the best version of themselves and accepting it as that. Like, there's no way. And when you look at stats, okay, Magic didn't score the most points in the league, but that doesn't mean that he didn't have one of the greatest impacts at that time that he played. Like in his heyday, you know, we know the stats, 18 points a game, you know, 10 or so assists a game. And he was responsible for so much that was happening there. And I think with professional sports, specifically NBA, it's all about matchups. You know, so you saw a point guard that changed the game being 6'9", got the rebound, started the break, and was able to do a lot of different things. His rookie season, able to play center when Kareem was hurt in the championship. But I really think it's difficult, and I think it's dangerous when we're so quick to give the new guys that are coming up, so quick to compare them to iconic greats, to say this is the next that, the next this, where it's like, yeah, Joker is balling right now, but he still has a long way to go before we can put him on that level, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I guess the thing that further bothers me, and then Rodney, please weigh in, is that it's not even just, okay, this guy's like Magic or this guy's like Bird. We're saying this guy is, if you're combining Magic and Bird, then you're absolutely telling me that this guy who hasn't done anything yet, except have a couple of good seasons, that he's the best player to ever walk the face of the earth. You can't be Magic and Bird. Like, it's crazy. That's what I'm talking about. Like, the comparisons bother me. I hate that they put people in the Hall of Fame before they've even stopped playing, especially when it's like they're halfway into their tenure. We already putting them in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
But when you're saying that he's this person plus this person, that's just downright disrespectful. Go ahead, Rod.
I don't even like when they do it with LeBron and compare him to Magic. Oh, this is what it would look like if Magic and Jordan had a baby. No, it's not. It's not. Because Magic didn't get his assists running pick and roll all game like these other players are doing. Magic didn't have 3-point shooters all around his system like these other players are doing. Magic was doing things with the ball, passing wise, that no one's ever done. And I've heard that, you know, Pistol Pete was a great passer, and I've seen games of Pistol Pete, and he could definitely pass. He was flashy, but there were certain things that Magic did that no one did. Magic was throwing the ball before anyone was even ready to receive it. He just had an instinct that you're going to cut to the left. So he would throw it left before you could even see the play coming. I've seen this man. I've sat here in the den and seen this man throw 80-foot bounce passes between like 3 people and hit somebody for a layup. LeBron is not doing that. Joker is not doing that. None of these players, I mean, even when D'Angelo Russell was getting drafted by the Lakers, and they were like, oh, he passes like Magic. No, he doesn't. Magic's passing ability is what Jordan or Kobe's scoring ability was to the game. It was higher than elite. There's no comparison to it. So I don't, and I'm with Sam. I don't like the comparison with the GOAT stuff. I mean, because I will tell anybody, Kareem is the GOAT. I mean, like, he did too much in the game. But at the same time, if I had a first overall pick, it would probably be Shaq, because I've never seen anything like Shaq in my life. I've watched games of Wilt, and Wilt shot a lot of jump shots off the glass. For as much as people boast about, he bench pressed 500 pounds and he was a sprint champion. And then I start to think to myself, well, why he only averaged 28 points against Bill Russell? Was Bill Russell's defense that great, or was Wilt maybe not as strong as everyone put? Because there's a difference between weightlifting strong and then having the strength to do other things when you have to use balance in that combination. You don't really use balance for weightlifting. But when you play basketball, you don't just use strength. You have to use balance because you have to maintain your position and your posture when you matched up against another player. Physics tell me, and I'm just going by physics, that with Bill Russell being 6'10, 220 pounds, and Shaq being 7'1, 350 pounds, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I don't see Wilt Wilt at his heaviest was like 270, 280, and that's when he got over to the Lakers. He was much thinner than that in his heyday. You're not going to guard Shaq with a 270-pound man. We saw that. We saw him being guarded by 300-pound guys like Big Country and those type of people. We saw him matched up against the best centers, the best era of centers that we probably have come across. And we're talking David Robinson, we're talking Patrick Ewing, we're talking Hakeem Olajuwon, we're talking Big Country. All of these guys played at the same time. And Shaq demolished all of them. And people will say, oh, no, not Hakeem. Hakeem, too. Hakeem got him early on when he was young in Orlando. But once Shaq got that size and strength, it was a wrap. When Shaq got up to the 325, 350 range in his weight, it was a wrap. No one could stop that dude. And you know, with the GOAT conversation again, it's everything was different. There's a reason why Wilt and Bill Russell and some of those guys were getting 50 rebounds in a game. The paint was only 8 feet wide. The balls were going to the post and they were dropping straight down. So and a lot of guys in that era couldn't shoot. So you had a lot of rebounds then. And then the paint went to 12 feet, where the post players had to expand their game a little bit, and the rebounds dropped off. Then you put in the era that Magic and Jordan and all those guys played in, Kobe with the illegal defense. Now you have to play defense. You can't, sit back and just clog the paint because one guy gets the ball every play. That changes the game. Now you take out illegal defense in 2002 when LeBron comes in, and now you have these defensive 3 seconds where they can actually just sit back and keep post guys from getting the ball. Now you got all these perimeter players hitting threes, and the defense is switching everything. So now if I got Sam on me, who's a great defender, and I run a pick and roll with his guy, now he's switched up with somebody who can't play defense, and he gets a free shot at the basket. And so people are bothered when I say the numbers of today's game are inflated, but that's what you get when you look at. There wasn't many people before 2002 getting triple doubles. It was rare. Jason Kidd was good at it. Magic, of course, was doing it at a high rate when other people weren't doing it. Now you got people getting triple doubles like every day. And it's not. It's lost its luster, for the lack of a better phrase. It's much more achievable than it was before, and it's based on the style of play. Because the first thing people holler is, "Oh, because of this soft NBA, all these hand check fouls." And when you look at the game, I don't see hand check fouls being called. I don't see a bunch of freedom of movement calls being called because they switch everything. So there's no reason to hand check. They don't have to play. They play an area now, and they don't have to actually play individual defense. Like, and AC and I've had this conversation. Like when Indiana played Chicago, Reggie Miller had to see Jordan all night. He didn't get the benefit of, oh, you know what? They're gonna switch and put Steve Kerr on me or John Paxson. I'm gonna have a Fields day.
However, when Indiana played New York, they let Reggie Miller assault Greg Anthony and assault Greg Anthony and assault Greg Anthony and score all them points in 9 seconds. And so, anyway, all right, I digress. Yes, Rodney, you're absolutely right. Cobbs, welcome. Good morning. Top of the morning to you. What's up? What's up? No, well, I don't. Well, two of us are not impressed with Joker stats. I don't know about Sam. I don't think Sam is either, because it's just he's doing what he's doing in this.
You know what?
Era.
I can answer that.
Era.
And I could say it like this.
Right? You just talked for 8
No,
minutes.
what I'm about to say is when Westbrook averaged a triple-double for the whole season, they weren't calling him the best in the league or saying that he was already a Hall of Famer. But now Joker does it in the postseason for 5 games, and already they're saying he's a Hall of Famer, he's a top 10 player, he's an all-time great, he's doing things we've never seen before. That all of these accolades.
Does it make you feel like
we're not going?
Go ahead, Sam. I'll come.
We're not going to bring up the elephant in the room. We know that anytime certain people are excelling, of course they get that wave of this is the great, this is the next. So, yeah. So I get it. You know, I don't want to minimize. Joker's balling right now. Things are set up for him to excel, and he's in a good position right now. Would I get ahead of myself and say he's going to be an all-time great? I think that, you know, we have some time, and so we shall see. You know, I don't want to penalize him for doing what he's doing right now either, because, you know, he's benefiting from systems that are in place, and, you know, you can tell he's putting in work. He's put in work during the off season. He's doing what he needs to do for his team to excel. But as I said, I would never get ahead of myself and say, oh, he's the next great. Right. He's top 100 of all time. I wouldn't do any of that. But for right now, let's go ahead and just let him do what he's doing. Give him his flowers. He's getting it in right now. But yeah, outside of that, I don't want to say too much more. And I agree with you. You know, when Westbrook was getting a triple-double as a smaller player in the league, he was getting a triple-double. You know, people allowed, you know, his attitude is what they would talk about more than his actual aptitude for the game. It was always focusing on his attitude. I get it. Joker seems like a good quality guy, not really a big problem in most cases, unless you talk to the staff with the Warriors with how Joker has acted. But, you know, I get that part. But I really think, you know, right now, Joker's getting it in.
And it's a way for them to grow the game globally. That's all. That's how I look at it. Yeah. You know, they put a lot of emphasis on European players to keep growing the game overseas. So
anytime that we have the opportunity to say that word, I gotta say it like Dr. Obina did. Dr. Obina says European. He's a European player, not a European. He's a European. But so Rod, this is my question to you. No, Cobbs, no, absolutely.
Come on, Cobbs.
No, absolutely.
Cobbs, erase that question. You already know the answer to that.
No, he'd be in foul trouble. He'd be on the bench in the first quarter.
Okay. Would he make the team? All right, so here's my question, Rod. Do you, and I know that you're not going to own this, it seems like you felt for Westbrook a little bit right there when you brought him up. And when we started having this triple-double conversation, it was only Westbrook that we were talking about. And you talked about the inflation of it all. And do you now feel bad that you didn't give him more flowers in the moment because now they're running with Jokovic?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Because both of them are inflated. It's just one is being, you know, pushed. You know, a narrative is being pushed for one that wasn't being pushed for the other. And I think that part is not fair. But are both numbers inflated? Yes, both numbers are inflated.
And then I still go back to especially with Westbrook, it's yes. So it is a different game, but if you tune your game to fit the style of ball that's being played, then that's really important. And when you look at Westbrook, he's no even with everything having changed, he's still one of one. Even in this era, where he's still one of one. And that was my whole argument, not just because he's a Bruin, go Bruins, but just remember that, like one of one, which doesn't make any of this easier to swallow. But again, we went off on a tangent about, it was a good tangent, but we went off on a tangent about comparisons overall. And that's great. But my biggest problem is with the comment, not that there's a comparison, but that you're a combination. That was my problem, my biggest problem. You're combining these, a top 3 player with a top 10 player and saying that this guy who's, most of us still don't know how to say his name. We all do, but I'm just saying, this guy's been around excelling for 3 years, and we're saying that he's the truth. He's the answer. He's the way. And it's nuts. And I want more of the people who are stakeholders in this to say something. That's my thing. Like, slap Dan Le Batard on the hand and say something. Go ahead, Sam.
I think one thing that we're not addressing right now is, all right, so everyone on here right now, Cobbs included, we're all Generation X. So Generation X, we come from the school of thought of the conventional oven. We were preparing meals in conventional ovens. Now we're in the microwave mode with the current generation. So with everything, it has to be instantaneous. A dude scores 51 game. Oh man, he's the best ever. Did you see he scored 50? And everything has to be bing, microwave. It happens so quick, so instantaneous. But there's a lot more value when you utilize a conventional oven. Like there's a lot more value, man. Like when you take your time, you prepare it, you put it in the oven. Yeah, it takes longer, but when it comes out, you know that it hasn't been compromised. You know that it wasn't rushed. So now it's like everything. I look at it from even in employment, and this is getting out of sports. When I'm hiring producers, PAs, folks will just graduate from college and they want to come in. They haven't worked in any markets and they want to work in the 4th largest market in the US. Boom, without any experience anywhere. And then when I tell them, I'm going to need you to go to a smaller market and put in your time there, because a mistake you make in market 50 is a lot less expensive than a mistake you make in market 4. You should see, man, they look like deers in the headlights. Like, well, why? I have talent. I want to do it right now. So I think society-wise, we're rushing everything and we want to jump to, oh, this is the GOAT. This is the best. This is the best to ever do it, as opposed to saying, hold up, slow down. The game has changed. Right now they want the game to just be points, points, points. There's not a lot of value in defense, and really having, when you looked at strategies in the past, in the 80s, were like the Jordan rule. When he was getting the crap knocked out of him, the league doesn't want that, because that doesn't promote scoring 120 points, 130 points. The league wants to get back to that. So yeah, I'm like, right now society wants things to be bing. All right, what is it? With us, it was patience, it was time, it was more put into it. And so we were able to see things. It may not have looked as successful as fast, but as time surpassed, like it took Jordan years to get over the hump. But now it's like, okay, first year, second year, if you don't have it, oh, this person's a bum because they didn't win a chip yet, not thinking about how difficult it is to win a chip. So it's the microwave versus the conventional oven right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. And then for Rod, it's just, microwave versus the conventional oven versus discovering fire. So yeah, I get it. I absolutely get it. Shout out to Rod, Generation A. What's up, Elaine? Boomer. We were just talking. Listen, I was just talking to Brianna about these generations the other day. And it was amazing to me that Braylon, who is Kayla's sister, is the last of Generation Z, Gen Z, and Kayla is the beginning of Generation Alpha. I like,
Wow.
yo, Kayla's her like she doesn't even know her it's Gen Alpha, and the next up is Gen Beta. It's super duper interesting. So we were just talking about that, and we were talking about baby boomers and the way that it came up. And we're about to go off sports for a sec. The way that it came up is Danielle showed me a clip. Actually, let me show you the clip. Danielle was showing a clip from a show that she watches where this guy who was born in 1977 was trying to say that he was a millennial. So he was like completely off base with, you know, the generations and all that, but it was actually super funny. So let me find it real quick. I don't have it ready because I didn't plan on playing it. I didn't know we would wind up here, but here we are. All right, here it is. Let me share it with you guys and then play. And then I've got some more stuff to talk about culture wise. Got a Nia Long, Teddy Riley. Okay, give me a second. It is, where is it? Oh, I got to open it in QuickTime. One sec. There it is. All righty. Share. It's funny how we can get here on this. There it is. Is it going to share the audio? Tell me if you can hear the audio.
Yep.
Can you hear the audio? Okay.
Yep.
We're the same generation, by the way, just so you know.
No,
so.
you're not the same generation.
It goes from
You're like
77 to 97. So 40, 45.
Oh.
So we're both millennials. We're reaching 82. I'm the oldest millennial like on earth. What am I, a fucking boomer? Of course I'm a millennial. You're Gen X, bro. You're in my dad's generation.
So first of all, this dude forgot about our whole generation. He just thought it was millennials and boomers, but he was like 77 to 97. He's just making stuff up because his girl was born in 97 and he was born in 77. So I feel a joke coming on from Rod, but I already refused it, Rod, so you can't. Don't do that. Brianna's born in 89. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right, so check this out. Nia Long's son had a dance recital, and at the dance recital, the N-word is playing. So we're looking here. If you guys want to know where we're looking. Thoughts about that? Thoughts about the song with the N-word playing like it ain't nothing?
I definitely have an issue with that. I've been in situations where before one of my games, a DJ is playing music that's uncut and is using the N-word and all kind of other words. And I will walk over and tell somebody, hey, that's got to go. There are kids here. There are elderly people here. There are families here. He's got to play the clean version or that's got to go off because I don't want to hear that. Now, the first time it happens, you know, I'll kind of make a joke about it and say, hey, man, you don't have Michael Jackson or MC Hammer or something, you know, friendly? Okay. But no, we're not getting ready to do the N-word, the B-word, and all the other stuff going on. Not when I'm around. That's not happening. And it definitely wouldn't happen during a school play or recital. That's terrible. Yeah.
I think the fact that we've normalized the N-word as a culture where so many have embraced it and you know, for us, it seems like it's acceptable and therefore, you know, it's normalized. So we need to get to a place where we don't normalize the usage of it because, or we're going to continue to hear it. And even when others are listening to our music, you know, I often watch, you know, because you'll hear folks that are singing it. Once it gets to the N word, they're rapping everything. Da-da-da-da-da. Then you see them pause. Then they come right back. And I often wonder to myself, like, okay, when you by yourself, do you sing the whole thing through? So I think, you know, the normalization of the N word is part of the problem. And we should have never allowed that to be something that we incorporated. Like right now, we're having a conversation. It hasn't, and even when we're off of here, AC, we've talked. I talked to my core group of brothers, and that's not something that comes into our conversations. So I think it comes with a certain level of consciousness. You know, if you don't want to hear that, then perhaps you shouldn't utilize it. It starts there.
Yeah, I'm absolutely aligned with that, as Sam said, and that's why we
can't hear you. At least I can. Wait, I can hear you. Hold on.
You can hear me, Rod?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. We, you know, as Sam said, yeah, that's not part of my core vocabulary. Like I still say the N-word. I haven't said the N-word. You know, I think I've said it one time, and it's when I was telling a coach. I told him that these kids said the N-word. He was like, "What N-word?" So I had to tell, like, "Are you stupid? You know what I'm talking about." Like, you got to be kidding me. But yeah, I think that it has become so normalized, but I still don't excuse it. And hold on, let me do this because Rod wanted us to do this. So here. I mean, you know, Rod wanted to hear some MC Hammer. So she used to collect a quarter. See, I would like to collect $1. This is the thing. So, okay, so this is going to get deeper, especially in officiating. The first time that I heard it on a football field, I was at Compton High School, and it wasn't by a black person, and I was so confused. But he was talking to a black person, and I was so confused because it was okay to the black person. It was a Pacific Islander. And I was like, and that's when I realized, because I wasn't around high school students before then. Because I was only around high school students until Danielle graduated, which was 97. And then I had no reason to be around any of them for the next 11 years. So fast forward to 2008. And I was like, oh, this is acceptable now? So first of all, that's a flag. But you're actually okay with it from him. I'm not even going to let you say it on the field, but you're okay with him saying it to you. And I'm going to tell you what else it breeds. I worked a game at Adams State 2 years ago. No, last year. And the player called a black player a Moonyon. A Pacific Islander called a black player that. And I flagged him for unsportsmanlike conduct. And his coach asked me, well, what did he say? And I said, he called him a Moonyon. And he was like, well, what is that? And I said, you heard the term moolie that Italians use, like the bad Italians use for black people? And he was like, kind of. And I was like, well, yeah, it's a derogatory term for black people. And this is what he called that black person. He was oblivious. The coach was oblivious, but the player knew exactly what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, I know y'all let me say the N-word, but I want you to really feel this. So I'm going to call you something that, that the Italians probably call him too, but he going to use it on us. It's a problem. It's a problem. So I support Nia Long in this. And clearly she doesn't use the term. And, to Rod's point, and Rod's made several points, and usually his points are run-on points. But to his point about that warm-up music, we hear a lot of it in the various sports that we officiate. And I always turn my head when I just hear to Rod's point, the unedited version, not even with the N-word or with the B-word, but just like with SHIT and FUCK and the AMN and all. I was like, whoa. So I'm fine with it, but it shouldn't, the site administrator shouldn't be fine with it. You can't let the kids run the playlist off of the iPhone. It needs to be, unless you approve the playlist. So just my thoughts there. So let's go a step further. Rod's former mentor just got indicted a couple days ago, and now, you're not gonna claim him. But listen, so there's uproar right now because Teddy Riley is publicly supporting Donald Trump, and people want to know what's up, Rod. What's up, Roderick, who is the first Rod that I knew. I forgot I dropped that on there. What's up, Rod? And what's up, Jay Moore? That's Sam's brother right there, Jay Moore. You know Javon?
Oh yeah. I know Javon. Yeah.
Well, fellas.
So Teddy Riley is saying, I support this dude because he freed my brother who was doing double life. That's the end of my thought. Just introducing that. You guys want to talk about it? If not, it's cool. No?
What did his brother do to get double life?
Well, we can imagine what he did to get double life. There's only one thing you could do to get double life, right? Right? There's only one thing you can do to get double life. So,
yeah,
let's look it up.
Him doing a conscious clearing move does not make it right. Shoot, if that's the case, I could say, well, hey, when I did my tax return, he upped the mileage rate, and it saved me from being penalized.
Well, okay, so Rod, that's first of all, that's funny as hell. That's funny as hell. But listen, let's take it a step further. Your brother is freed, and that fool is not in power. So you don't have to publicly support him. Like, did you tell him? Did you make a deal with the devil where you said, hey, I will publicly support you if you release my brother?
Right.
No, you may have pitched him, but he already released him, and there's no tap, no trading back. Like that. And I know it wasn't tap, it was something else, but I don't think that we should have been saying black. I don't think that was, I don't know. I got to process that. But tap, no trading back. He's not going to put him back in. So you don't have to publicly support him, Teddy Riley.
Right.
Now I'm questioning lots of things about Teddy Riley. I don't know. What you got, Sam? Is Teddy Riley out of line?
Now we don't know. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes, man. We don't know if Teddy Riley has business with Donald Trump. There are a lot of things we don't know. So although it doesn't align with how I feel, we don't know if they were friends. You got to remember, before being the president, Donald Trump was loved by a lot of folks that look like us. He was referencing a lot of hip hop. He was in a lot of hip hop videos. He was accepted by the culture. So let's not pretend that, due to his political run and all of the things, the MAGA stuff, prior to that, he was friends with a lot of people that look just like you and I. So I don't know. I don't know if, he may have had a relationship already established with Teddy Riley before becoming the president. And we don't know all that entails. Like that might be, that could easily be his boy that we just don't know. And like, how could you be friends with him with all the MAGA stuff? They may have been boys before he became the president.
Yeah, that's fair. And in that case, he could actually give Donald Trump a piece of his love. And what can we say?
You're ignorant right there.
Once you come out publicly being reckless like he did, we can't be boys anymore. You are publicly coming out speaking against us. We can't be boys anymore at all. I don't care how much you let me sit up in your hotel, and they were probably, running young blondes together, whatever they like to do. Doesn't matter. Once you do something like that, that stuff is cut off. It's cut off. And if you freed my brother, it's because you should have freed my brother. I don't owe you anything for that. Mm-hmm. You doing that just to. You're not doing it because it's out of your heart. You're doing it out of a move to say, hey, I've been good to you people. But isn't that what the lady said to you on The Color Purple? I've been good to you people.
Look, I have black friends. Look what I did for Teddy Riley.
Right. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. You are actually taking an active stance against a whole culture, and then you throw a crumb by saying, "Oh, I'll release about 5 or 6 of you guys, and should be happy." Did he release the average person's brother, or was it just Teddy Riley's brother?
Hold on, Reefy hit us. Let's see what Reefy has to say. Oh, I'm really not sure. Right? No, I am sure. No, he didn't release the average person. Right. Just one of the greatest producers of all time's brother, who was doing double life. Pretty scary. But Sam makes a really good point. Now Rod and Sam internally, and then I guess, and also me, we would not continue to be friends with that person, as evidenced by the fact that I got a half sister floating out there that I'm not friends with because of some Trump shit. So, yeah, so it runs deep for me, but I'm not going to cancel Teddy Riley because he decided to still be this dude's friend. Yes, I'm aligned. All right.
We'll see how that plays out, because I know Chrisette Michelle got canceled by a lot when she came out with those kind of statements. I haven't seen her on a show or anything in a long time.
What did Chrisette Michelle say? Ooh, that's hard to say.
I think it was in the beginning. She make some Trump supporter statements in the beginning of everything. I think that's what happened.
I find myself wondering though, like, now that we're talking this whole Trump thing, is it a lot of semantics? Meaning, is the person more of a Republican supporter or more of a Trump supporter? Because I'm like, if you vote specifically for a party, do you go ahead and back that candidate regardless of who the candidate is because of your allegiance with the party, or is it actually supporting the whole MAGA agenda? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm curious to know. Like, we talk voting, we talk whatever side of the aisle you're on. So are you more aligned with the side of the aisle, your specific party, or are you more aligned with the candidate?
So that's a great question, Sam. And I think that it does vary. And I think that there are some people that are clearly, and I believe them when they say, I'm voting along party lines. And they're not actually wearing Make America Great Again hats. They're not actually waving a Trump flag. Now, they will have the bumper sticker or whatever, the Trump Pence and but they're also not the ones that still have the Trump Pence bumper sticker on their car. It's, yes, I'm voting Republican because I'm not going to vote Democrat. And then some of them do actually go independent, and some of the Democrats will go independent also. This is Rod and I had this discussion about iPhones and what's the other thing called? The lesser device, robot, Android. We had this discussion about that the other day. So people go both ways, but I think that there are some who are Trump no matter what, and those are the delusional ones who think that he's still in office and or got cheated out of office and or did nothing wrong on January 6th and all of that. And it's just, I think that those are the extremists for Trump, and those are the ones that scare me, because I don't agree with everything that has happened. I'm a Democrat, but I don't agree with everything that has happened in my party. And we can go back to, one of my favorite presidents, but like some shit that went down with that couple that affected a lot of us and the people that we know. And so I'd stand against that, but I don't stand against the party. But I'm not waving a flag for said individual. But there are people like, as I'm traveling for football, Sam, I'm going into these towns and they still have Trump flags up. And I'm not talking about Trump 2024. We're talking Trump 2020. And it's like, why is that still up? Like, big, like, what are you doing? He ain't there. You want to bring him back.
I live in a red state. I live in a red state and I live in a red community. So meaning right now, every Saturday in front of our local big box hardware store, there's a group of about 50 individuals that have American flags on the back of their trucks that say F the current administration, that say pro their person. With 2022, with 2024, they're there every Saturday for about 4 or 5 hours. So I see it in my community where I reside. So trust me, a lot of it is delusion. The part that is always funny to me is when I look at a lot of the socioeconomic means that said individuals that are supporting this conspiracy theory and this agenda, quite a few of them just look backwoods, toothless, and just so uninformed. So I find that to be quite hilarious, to be quite honest, because I see it, and there are even some farms like in our neighborhood that have signs on, F the current administration, pro this person, and it's comedy at its best. Dangerous, but yet comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. So I live in a blue state, and I live in a blue community that has a Home Depot corner that gets taken over by the red residents, and so it's the same as what you're talking about. And here's the thing for me, so people that know me know that I'm like the grammar police and all of that, but so I like to point out things that really do, but like I'll have an overall problem with something, but I'll also point out something very specific. So as you're stuffing the American flag, which I pledge allegiance to the flag, but as you're stuffing the flag down my throat, when you're posting it, it's supposed to be a certain way. And some of these people who claim to be such great patriots don't even have the flag posted or painted in the right direction. And it's very interesting. Now, I'm not going to stop and say anything to them. I'm getting the hell away from them. But it's very interesting that as you talk about me or us or us desecrating the flag, look at what you're doing to that flag that you just picked up off the ground. And when you hung it up on your little red wagon, you didn't even hang it up the right way. And then I love the ones that have it as the film on the back window of their pickup truck, and it's wrong. It's in the wrong direction. But then here's the one. I'm watching neighbors, this one neighbor in particular, walk his 2 dogs. And I'm sure he's a military guy. However, I don't think your dogs are pledging allegiance to any flag. So I was just wondering why his dogs had American flag patches on their getup. Like, did they have to declare which country they represented? They're your dogs. And they're not traveling to another country. Well, they're not today. They're in front of my house. And I don't live in a DMZ, a demilitarized zone. I don't live near an embassy. Like, this is American soil. I feel like, and this is the problem. This is another big problem. You're trying to weaponize the American flag, like saying that I don't care about my country or that I don't want to be here. I do want to be here. I just want things to be better. You should want things to be better too. Oh, but you want them to be better a different way. And we're not about to have that discussion right now. So, okay, moving right along. By the way, shout out to UCLA, Howard, Seton Hall. Just want to throw that out there. All right, Rod, we never did get a chance to talk about, you were going to start talking about the pitching staff. So let's circle back to the Dodgers.
And real quick, Chrisette Michelle took backlash for agreeing to sing at Trump's inauguration.
Oh, did she sing? Oh. She wanted Trump to be elected for a couple of forevers? I'm just asking. asking a question. Shout out to Tuskegee. She said we got each other. She and Trump have each other. That's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Skeptic, my all-time favorite group on that song. Oh, it just hurts my soul.
Oh, yeah.
The OJs are my all-time favorite group. But you know, it is what it is.
You said the Barcades are your all-time favorite group?
The OJs.
Come on now. Come on now.
I know what you said. So I have a story about Tuskegee. I've been on the campus. You know, I used to take all those trips to Alabama ride when I was previously married. So I've been up to Tuskegee before. So shout out to Tuskegee. I don't think we have any backstabbers to talk about today. But that song that's by Rod's favorite group. It's called Backstabbers, and it's a masterpiece. If you don't know, now you know. If you don't know, now you know. All right. Pitching staff. I know we didn't bury the lead, but come on, Rod, talk to us.
They need help, man. They're gonna have to make some moves. Say again.
Go ahead. I just asked if we're gonna finish 500. It's a scary thought right now.
Oh, not if we don't make any moves to improve the staff. They're gonna have to do something. I think they were relying on the fact that they probably thought Dustin May and all the guys that were injured were going to come back and play, you know, better than before, and that's a crapshoot with young guys who were basically rookies, and you're depending on them to come in because they really don't have any experience. After their rookie season, they get injured, and it's like they get injured in the beginning of the season. It's almost like when they come back, they're rookies again. So you have to have some vets on the staff and then you have an old Clayton Kershaw who, you know, can still do it here and there, but not like he used to. And the thought that, well, we have enough good bats that we can overcome that's just not the case anymore.
So I'm aligned with that.
It's almost like it's like basketball. You kind of like 3 die by 3.
So I'm aligned with that, but I think if all things being equal, first of all, Kershaw is actually excelling right now, but like I think that it's not about the starters. It's just not. And then I could even get past middle relief right now because the last 4 losses are in the 9th inning. The last 4 losses are in the 9th inning, and that's the problem for me. And they're all close opportunities and blown saves. Well, no, I'm sorry, 3 of them were blown saves.
2 with the Yankees,
one of them was a hold opportunity.
Cincinnati, and
3 against the Yankees, and then last night.
Well, they won the first game against the Yankees.
Yeah,
I thought they played a 3-game series.
Wasn't it a 4-game series? Okay, so maybe
they lost to Cincinnati 2-9, like in the 11th inning or something like that.
No, that was the third one. It was 2 against the Yankees and then Cincinnati. So it was 3 games in a row. So yeah. But they gave up runs to go to extras in that one, right? That was the problem in the Cincinnati game. So you have hold opportunities that are not being held. You have own saves. So well, anyway, they went from
the crazy part is Kimbrel is not even there anymore. I can't talk about him.
What'd you say? What'd you start talking? You using your Android as a mic? What'd you say?
I said Kimbrel's not even there anymore. Kimbrel's not even there anymore. I can't even fuss at him.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
sometimes there's some kind of
their ERA is a collective 4.52 is their ERA. So yeah.
Okay.
Then their batting average 243. So that ERA though is pretty high.
Yeah,
their bats aren't doing it. Just
Yeah, because I mean, these are not the Paul Westhead days, right? And so it's not run and gun. We're not, and that's what it is. The Dodgers keep winding up in shootouts, and it's like,
Yeah.
damn, you're up 8-4, and then the next thing you know is 8-8, and then you lose 9-8 because like you can't hold or save. It's just it's rough. It's rough, but. All right. It's too early to talk about. I don't want to talk about the NFL yet. It's too early. Unless you want to talk about Rod's favorite player is now going to be on the cover of Madden. Talk about it. No, Rod.
Ooh,
Your favorite
I
player.
haven't heard that one. Who is it?
Your favorite player, the quarterback for the Bills.
Who? Eric Dickerson?
The quarterback, your current favorite player, the quarterback for the Bills. He is on the
Earl
cover.
Campbell? There's got to be a throwback. Well, I'm not surprised at that. I mean, if you say Josh Allen or Joe Burrows or the Chargers quarterback, I would never be surprised.
Okay.
They made those three may be on the cover for the next 18 covers. Yeah, they can do no wrong right now.
So yeah, I don't want to stay on the NFL, but it's interesting. There's actually looks like there's going to be a quarterback competition in San Francisco to start the season. They didn't think that there would be to start the season, but somebody's ahead of schedule. So we're gonna see what happens. They say it is up for grabs, although Purdy is the leader in the clubhouse. So, and I know it's because he's the one that finished the season, but kind of finished the season. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Is any of that? No, go ahead, Rod.
So apparently there's going to be a quarterback competition in Las Vegas too, because Garoppolo had foot surgery and he's not going to be ready, and they signed him knowing that he would fail his physical. Another clue that McDaniels.
Well, question for you guys: shouldn't that always be the mentality, though, that there's going to be a quarterback competition? Because that's you want to have that, because think about it. Any successful team, you pretty much need two starting quarterbacks. And let's just face it, the probabilities of a quarterback getting through a full season without injury, that's tough. So I think you should always approach it like, no, there's not a clear standout who's going to be the starter. So you can have that competitive spirit. You can add that fuel to the fire, as opposed to just saying, all right, this guy's a starter, and therefore, if something happens inevitably, we're not going to have a truly serviceable person that can step in as a starter if that person goes out. That's just me. I think you should have that competition.
Yeah, so I'm aligned with that, and I was more so saying that they were validating that there would be a competition like that. It's not like, even though they're saying Purdy is the leader in the clubhouse, they are letting Lance, and I'm not counting Darnold. I mean, I know, I get it, but Lance can battle for it. And then Darnold, if Darnold wins the quarterback competition, then I'm scared, because he has a body of work that tells me that he should not be the starter in San Francisco. As far as you're concerned, Rod, in Las Vegas,
my team's tanking.
I don't even know who the other quarterbacks are, since you guys lost the guy who was there last year, right? Who they sat Derek Carr for?
Stidham. Yeah,
Is he gone? Yeah, that's confusing, because I think you told me that they were, you told me that he was Josh, what's the dude's name? What's the coach's name?
McDaniel.
You told me he was McDaniel's guy, but then he's gone. So
yeah, he's tanking.
Well, Garoppolo, though, so I mean, when he comes back, he'll be the starter, and I think he'll finish his career there. I hope he stays healthy for you guys. I really like Garoppolo. But yeah, we'll see what happens in San Francisco. All right, Dodgers, please get it together. Please make a comeback. The UCLA got its Big 10 schedule for 2024 and 2025. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Games against Minnesota, games against Michigan, games against.
It's terrible, just to be honest. It's absolutely terrible.
The
This
only thing that looks
conference
familiar
alignment stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The travel
thing that was
schedule is going to be nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. So
They don't care about travel. They just
No, at all.
they sell out for the money. Whatever
that's
whatever they can get out of it, that's what it is. And it
Yep.
screws the kids in the end.
well,
yeah, agreed.
we're gonna see how it goes. Yeah. All right. So NBA. Anybody feel like there's gonna be an upset? Miami's gonna come back.
No.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Yeah. All right. So then once Denver does actually close it out, then we can start talking about how they compare to former champions. I know we started on it. We touched on it now. But yeah, we'll see where they stack up. Vegas jumped out to a 2-0 lead in the Stanley Cup Finals. I know I didn't see what happened in Game 3, so I'm not sure, but I expect Vegas to win that. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Tampa
there.
won Game 3.
Huh?
I thought Tampa won Game 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Oklahoma, my goodness. I was disturbed because UCLA lost at home they lost their first 2 games of the Women's College World Series. And so they weren't even a factor for the whole thing, but Oklahoma just won its 3rd in a row. It's sick. And they lost 1 game this year to Oklahoma State. And after losing that game, they just went on this crazy streak that set an NCAA record. And now they've won 3 in a row. So they are definitely a formidable power. Now you're going to start talking about Oklahoma as one of the all-time great programs. And this is definitely an all-time great run. See, that's tangible. We can say that. This is an all-time great run, 3 in a row. You know, they are world beaters. And then with 3 championships, they are over and above most of the other programs in softball. So you can start talking about their body of work and say, and it's not too early to start talking about that because this is an all-time great run. UCLA has had this kind of run. Arizona's had this kind of run. And now Oklahoma's having this kind of run. And there's not a lot beyond that. There was a time when Florida was on a nice run, but it wasn't 3 in a row. You know, this is different. So, you know, we can talk about that. And it's not like talking about Jokic. I think I called him Jokovic earlier. My bad. I'm talking about tennis. Jokic being a Hall of Famer, being an all-time great, being the GOAT, being Magic and Bird. It's just ludicrous. But we can talk about what Oklahoma's doing right now because it is absolutely amazing, especially when UCLA can't even get out of Easton Stadium. They lose 2. I don't even know who they lost to. I think they lost to Northern Arizona. I mean, I don't even know who they lost to. Like, it's that bad. They lost to like LMU and Cal State Northridge. No disrespect to the local teams, but it was that level.
Hey, don't hate on the Matadors, man. Don't do that.
Listen, Taraya Mims Flowers was the coach there, and she's a Bruin. And you know, Jason Flowers is her husband, and he was the women's basketball coach. So they had a nice little husband-wife connection on the Matador campus. But I'm just saying, shout out to Northridge, shout out to LMU, but those FCS programs should not be beating UCLA.
Yeah.
That's my point. And they lost both games. Like, so they didn't even make it to the elimination game, which is of the losers bracket. They were the first team out at home. That's my point. Because they were the first team to lose 2 games. So it was a rough start to the Women's College World Series for me. I wasn't really trying to tear down the Matadors or the Lions. All right. You guys have anything else before we close out? Oh, we missed a comment. We got something. Yeah, Florida did win Game 3. Shout out. Yep. So you guys got anything else? Or are we closing out?
I guess whatever we got, we can save for the next one.
Okay. I don't know what happened, but the first 4 people in this iteration of the Transformers are black, aside from the robots. I mean, aside from the Transformers. So I'm there today, by the way. I'm not going to tell you where I'm going, but I'm going to see that movie at 1:20. So, yeah. Shout out to the Transformers.
Did you see Spider-Man yet?
I have not seen it yet, but I'm planning on seeing that tomorrow.
We saw that. That was a family favorite. We enjoyed the representation, seeing folks that look like us, and just your nephew Miles. The character favors my son Miles, and his name's Miles. So yeah, that right there was really, really dope. So it was and the storyline, you know, I've seen a bunch of blogs and people are like, well, the storyline, I don't know. But for me, the storyline and how things came to a close for this particular one was, it's pretty dope. If you're a Marvel fan, I think you'll get a kick out of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I do plan on going to see that, and I am that. So
all right, I want to publicly say this also. I know last week I disowned you. Last week I said, man, this is no longer my brother. I was about to delete your number from my phone, but I said, well, in case of emergency, I better at least leave it in there. Just take brother off the front part of your name and just put distant associate. But after this week's show where you humbled yourself and you realized that last week you were talking out of both sides of your mouth, I will gladly accept you back into the fold of the family. You have an open invitation. The door is always unlocked. And I'm back to loving you, bro.
So he's invited to the barbecue.
He's invited. Rod will remain 1A, but you are a close 1B. Okay? There you go. There you go. Okay? That's it. I ate humble pie. That's my official closeout right there. We're good.
Oh, that is funny, man.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you for why Rod, you calling me? You calling me on my home phone from your home phone? Rod always like to play them home phone games. Well, thank you for
you have a home phone?
It's digital. It's
okay.
It's from Spectrum, and it's included in my package since I work for
okay.
Spectrum. Not paying for it. Yeah, it's Ring. Now, Rod, on the other hand, he actually come on, Rod, stop doing that, man.
Hey man, Saucier doesn't have a cell phone, so yes, I have a landline for him in case of emergency.
Okay.
In every other universe, Gwen Stacy falls for Spider-Man. And in every other universe, it doesn't end well.
Well, it's the first time for everything, right?
All right, so that's from Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I will be seeing it on Saturday. Sam and the family recommended. Sam, Sean, Samuel, and Miles recommended. So you heard it there first from the Gardner click. Rod. Oh no, Sam. Go ahead, Sam. Close out. Just give us your parting thoughts.
All right, brothers. Great show today. We covered a great deal of territory. And everyone was sensible and logical today, which is excellent. It's a great way to have a conversation. There was no one that was just reckless and just talking with no research and no facts based upon what they were saying. So today was an excellent show. Thank you for allowing me to come onto the platform and hang out with you guys, man. It's been fun, man. No, all jokes aside, man, I enjoy the banter. I enjoy the podcast. It's pretty dope. Look, if my old mind can remember exactly what time it starts, because that would be better so I could show up on time. But no, man, it's been nothing but fun, man. You guys are really hitting it out the park, man, doing a great job. AC, I would task you with making sure for yourself and your co-host and guest that somehow you find a plug on that UCLA Jordan brand gear because it's fresh, but you got to work on that, brother.
Yeah, I got to work on that.
Some UCLA Jordan brand.
Right. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming through, sir. and I will work on that Jordan Brand gear. Rob, before you close out, since he brought it up again, let's just see Dre one more time.
Oh, here we go.
It's not that like I've gone through something somebody else caused. It's self-inflicted wounds that I've had over the course of your tenure here, us being together. And we were speaking about it. He was like, man, I forgot all of that shit. You've done a lot of shit. And I trust me. Not for 1 second do I go home and not think these guys have had my back. Like you, Bob, through things that I've gone through. The camera caught you one time like, I'm sick of Draymond shit. And I was like, that sucks. I can't believe he said that. And I had to take a step back like, I'd be sick of Draymond shit too. So.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead and close out, Rod.
Hey, man. I had fun today. Sam, I hope you come back through, man. So we can get on this discussion about how everyone likes their steaks.
Oh gosh! Look, you're talking to a vegan here, so I don't really know if I can chime in.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
We've been having this discussion on how people should eat a steak. AC has been sending jokes about steaks, and I've been sending stuff to him about steaks, and it's been an ongoing thing for like a week. And I'm sure it's gonna ruffle some feathers. So even being vegan, I definitely want you to weigh in because I think that would add a twist to it. But hey man, I just want to give a quick shout out and say I'm sending a little prayer to the Ross family. Jamal Ross, another official, had a freak accident, passed away, and he'll be missed in the officiating world. And a few other people that I know passed. It's like the older we get, especially me in my middle 50s, like someone's passing away like every other day. That's how it feels, to the point where I really don't want to go to funerals anymore because my mom used to warn me, if you go to funerals, you can start to think about your own mortality too much. And she was right, because every time something feels weird with me, I'm like, uh-oh, what's going on? I better run to the doctor. And when it gets like that, it's time to just chill out. So a prayer for all of those families with missing loved ones. And today I don't have to work. I don't have a game anywhere. I'm just going to relax and do some yard stuff and call it a day. Oh, you big guy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So just going back to Dre real quick. Looking back at self-inflicted wounds that ache and ailment. So Bubba told us way before Draymond told us, like, what Draymond was on. Like, it's self-inflicted wounds that ache and ail him. Yeah, man. So I appreciate you, Sam, for coming through. Rod, I know Rod's always here and always geared up to work. It's just me that is the reason why we don't come on sometimes.
Oh, here
so
we go.
That being said, we're about to have a straight nice run of Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific, because Rod and I are both going to be here and ready. So if we're not, one of us has to own up to that. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll see you next week at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain. I didn't say that in order, but, and then 5 Hawaii time? All right, so listen, just love. I say this a lot, but just try to remember to love your people and let them know that you love them. It's extremely important. Like, it was extremely important for Sam to let me know that he does still love me, because I had a rough week when he told me he was disowning me and just not messing with me anymore. And I had to check with Sean to make sure that I was still good with the other 75% of the family. But for this 25%, he locks the door, then the door is not unlocked for me. So, but I know that Rodney still experiences this a lot with Zaire. And I know Sam experiences this with the boys. But like, Kayla will see me and she will run to me. Like, Daddy, I missed you. And it's like, I missed you too. Like, it's so great to hear that and to see you sharing that. Like, I just, it warms my heart. And I tell my mom all the time that I love her. And I don't talk to my dad as much, but I tell him that I love him when I talk to him. I talk to my mom every day. And I know that my mom misses her mom. And so, that's tough for her. And just listen, while your people, and Rob was just talking about losing people and funerals and all that. So just while your people are here, just remember to let them know unequivocally that you do love them. And then if you're kind of iffy about somebody who you should love, maybe just give them some extra grace and just go back to loving them. Now, if it's someone who has stepped on you and you're on the fence, then maybe you go in the other direction. But the people who you actually love and should love, just suck it up and go fix it. Or at least try to fix it, talk through it. And then if you can't, then you did all you could. And that's really important. But hey, episode 106 of the Collective Podcast. We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming through. And we will be back next Saturday at, again, 8 Pacific, 9 Mountain, 10 Central, 11 Eastern, AM, wherever you need us. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitch, YouTube. I think there's maybe a couple more places, but yeah, we appreciate you. Episode 106 of the Collective Podcast. Thank you.